Now, how about this blast from the past?
Do you remember this back in, when we were younger?
Yeah.
This TV show and Dr.
the
Squiggle.
Mr.
Yeah,
Squiggle.
Mr. Squiggle.
Yes, I remember
thought
that.
My doctor was Mr. Squiggle.
She's back. Yes, Schapelle Corby, once a media obsession, returns to the airwaves to plug a revised version of her 2006 autobiography, My Story. But does anybody care? This saga goes back 15 years. In October 2004, the then unknown 27-year-old trainee beautician was arrested at Denpasar Airport in Bali after customs found her boogie board bag packed with marijuana. I was media advisor for the then Foreign Minister Alexander Downer back then, and I remember another advisor saying there's this Bali drug case that's getting a lot of attention in Queensland. I think this is going to get frantic. How right he was. The interest in this case was unprecedented for such a seemingly mundane episode. Corby always maintained her innocence.
Inside the bag was 4.2 kilos of marijuana, with an estimated street value of more than $80,000. It's the biggest ever seizure at Bali's airport.
The media frenzy included theories of corrupt baggage handlers planting the drugs and suggestions a pretty Western woman might have been maliciously targeted by a corrupt Indonesian system. It seemed every Australian had a theory. I've no doubt she's innocent, said prominent barrister Tom Perry QC. She's bold, she's beautiful, and Schapelle's life is totally sick, said the Sydney Morning Herald's Neil McMahon. There was even, quite literally, trial by television.
And now we return to the remainder of Liz's interview with Schapelle Corby, while again our studio audience passes judgment using the Channel 9 worm as they try to evaluate whether she's telling the truth or not. But now to what Australians at home are thinking and the first results of our phone poll. And as you can see, yes is an astonishing 9%. 91% have voted no, that they do not think she is guilty. Yes for 9%.
In May 2005, in the real Indonesian court, she was found guilty and sentenced to 20 years in jail.
But outside, it was a far angrier mood.
To all our family and friends, we love you all. Schapelle is innocent. This verdict is unjust. The case now enters a new phase and will stand by Schapelle every step of the way. Our lawyers have done their best, and with the support of all the Australians, thank you, Schapelle will be coming home soon. I don't even know we had a bloody trial. We didn't take any real witnesses into account.
Over the years, despite or perhaps because of other similar cases and worse cases, including executions in Indonesia, Corby's plight gradually faded from the limelight. She was released on parole in February 2014 and deported to Australia more than 2 years ago. She's been low-key since then, just posting bits and pieces on Instagram until the book promotions of the past week or so.
Schapelle Corby, the drug trafficker.
That's how you think most Australians see you?
Yes.
But Corby doesn't seem to be entirely open about her story.
There is a law that says you cannot profit from crime. Are you making money?
Well, it's not about money. It's about me finishing my story.
I know it's not about money, but where will
Money's
the profit...
good.
Money's good, but where will the profit go?
I'm not sure. It's true, I'm not sure.
Promoting a book when you don't know where the proceeds go? Stranger than fiction, isn't it? All this also raises questions about the wisdom of Corby going public while still apparently struggling to cope with her situation.
But seconds before air, a breakdown. The 42-year-old in tears and reaching for the tissues.
The original story, which I wrote in 2006 while I was still in prison. Now it's 13 years later from the original, and I just felt I needed to finish the story.
She maintains she is not a drug smuggler.
Who do I think did this? I don't know.
It's hard not to feel some pity. Schapelle Corby is a 42-year-old woman battling mental illness who was close to breaking down on set this morning, tweeted the Australian's Caroline Overington. This book tour is not in her best interests. In The Australian, Overington observed that millions of people had watched the outcome of Corby's trial, and she speculated that now, perhaps the viewers' response was, "Oh my God, I'm so sick of her." It's not possible to guess why she has decided to return to the spotlight, continued Overington. It is hard to see how it profits her long term. A wise observation there, I think. With no experience and little sound advice, Corby has sought to use the media since the first days of her arrest, often in ways that might have been counterproductive. If the public have lost interest in her, and the media does the same, it might be the best thing that's happened to Corby since she got out of jail.